Before we begin, like any good programming class, we're going to spend a little bit of time getting our development environment in order. This involves installing a few basic programs. Now you should find links to all of the installers located on the course website. I've got them all downloaded here, and I've also numbered them in the order that I want to be able to install them in. But you should find this same basic set of installers and have them ready to go. The first thing to install is Chrome. Make sure that you have installed Google Chrome. We will be using this for debugging in particular, not just for web browsing. And it will be nice if we all have the same environment. If you are on a Mac, you can also feel free to use Safari, which has a very similar debugging interface. However, Chrome is available, and you will generally find that things are more consistent if you stick with Chrome. I'm not going to show the install of this. Many of you will already have it installed. Instead, we'll move on to the second one, which is Git. Now, I want to caution, we are not installing GitHub or Git Desktop or any other Gitkraken type GUI here. We're installing the base Git program, and that's what we want. It's going to give us several tools that will allow us not just to interact with Git repositories that are out on the internet, but also to run things from the command line in Windows. So we'll start with this. As usual, it requires you to authorize it when it's being installed. And most of this you can click through and accept the defaults, but I would like you to pay attention to a few things. In particular, when you get to the Select Components section, make sure that this Windows Explorer integration is enabled. It should be by default. Also, make sure that you have the middle option here in adjusting your path environment. This will make sure that you're able to use Git properly from the command prompt, which is what we want. Most of the rest of this, the default options will be okay. When all is done, you can uncheck the release notes. We don't need to look at those, and click Finish. Next up is the Windows or Web Platform Installer. This comes from Microsoft, and is probably one of the easiest ways to install some of the base web programming components that we will need to use in this class. We aren't going to install all of it. The Web Platform Installer in particular is really just a large program that allows you to find and download packages for developing for the web on Microsoft Windows. When this first comes up, it's going to show you the Spotlight tab, which has some of the cooler, more later web development tools that are very Microsoft-centric. We're not really interested in those. You can also get the full list of products from the Products tab, and you can look at them through categories, and all the different applications that are available to install on top of that, some of which are not even Microsoft products. We don't really need to use any of this stuff. We can just jump right over to the search bar. We're going to search for PHP 5.6. Now there's many different versions of PHP out there, the latest of which is version 7. We don't want to use that. We are going to go right for PHP 5.6 because the 5 version is the one that is most widely used and supported. Locate the pure PHP 5.6.30 and click Add right here. Now you will notice it's going to add other things as well, and this is okay. Windows decides to install extra things to support PHP 5.6 in use in its particular environment. These are the 4 things it should try to install. Now some of these are actually going to fail, but PHP 5.6 will install just fine, and that's the main thing we're concerned about. Now go ahead and click Install. It will review these items with you and have the usual I accept button, and then it will download and install all of the technology necessary. So let this complete, and then we'll look some more at the installation itself. When all is completed, you should see the following. Make sure the ones that did successfully install include PHP 5.6.3. Some other things won't install correctly, and that's okay. This is likely because it requires the SQL server or the information server, none of which we necessarily have ready to go. Click Finish and click Exit. Now before we leave that behind, we want to make sure that it is actually installed somewhere. So open up an Explorer, I'm going to make a new one here, and go over to C, and then scroll down to Program Files x86. As you look through here, you'll see lots of different programs that have been installed, but in particular, here's PHP right here. Underneath this, you'll find version 5.3 and version 5.6. It actually installed both. And version 5.6 has what we need inside of it. We won't be making use of this until the very end of the class, at which time we'll have to set up a few options to make sure it works correctly. But for now, it's at least installed and ready to go. The next item in the list is Node.js. Now we're only going to use this as sort of a server to install some extra packages for checking things, particularly when we get to the JavaScript portion of the class and the PHP portion. It actually offers a lot more than that, most of which you can learn about in the Advanced Web Development class, as it is very much on the cutting edge of what people do in web. For now, we simply need to install it like normal, and this is one where we can definitely just accept the default options, making sure that add to path in particular is in there. Approve it, and let it install everything that's necessary. You can confirm that it installed correctly by bringing up a bash terminal. If you right-click in any sort of Explorer or on the desktop, there will be some new options that have been installed by Git, one of which is Git Bash here. I'm going to click that. This opens up a bash terminal in Windows. All we have to do to make sure it installed correctly is type npm. This is the Node package manager, which automatically gets installed along with Node. And as long as you see output similar to this, you can rest assured that npm is installed and working correctly, as well as Node. The next thing on our list is Atom. Let's go ahead and fire up the installer for this. Atom's installer is a little bit different. You will notice that it does not ask you for authorization as it installs. This is because it's not installing under program files, something that some of the more power users may be used to going and looking under. In fact, it gets installed under the local app data for this particular user, and this is not something you can control. It always installs there. There are no options to select. Everything installs automatically, and when it's complete, it will simply run Atom.